Hey guys, I just got back from doing this video you're about to watch where I ride Mr. Kortan here behind me on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood, and I wanted to include two camera angles, the usual chest camera looking forward mounted on a bracket on my chest, and then one on the handlebars that once in a while would look up at me and I could do some commentary that way. And that camera used to be right here. On the way back, I was also trying to attempt another video where I hit the ton on Mr. Kortan, which is 100 miles an hour. And things were getting pretty shaky and some pretty hard bumps, and I lost my camera. So here is Sunset Boulevard ride along on Mr. Kortan with one camera perspective. Sorry about that. Hope you enjoy. Okay, we are on Sunset Boulevard in beautiful, although cloudy today, West Hollywood, Los Angeles, California. I thought I'd take you guys for a little cafe racer ride on Mr. Kortan and show you Sunset Boulevard and just a few of the fun spots here. Historic place. Hopefully this microphone is working out okay in this location. Oh, come on. That's better. No turn on red. I guess they mean that probably. Don't really understand why. I'm not going to get a green. Not sitting where I am now. I don't think I have a choice. I can't wait for a car to come off this bizarre street. So, Sunset Boulevard, I mean, what is there to say? There's a lot of history that's gone down here, and most of it kind of the wildlife and music, of course. I suppose if I sit back like that at stoplights, you guys don't get the best view. Hollywood High School. Cannot imagine how many people have gone through that building. It's old. I don't think I'd want to go to high school there now. Then again, what do I know? Maybe it's a great school. California public schools, to me, having come from Minnesota, where public education is so
celebrated and so supported. Here, not so much. If your kids are in a good school, you're paying for it. And most people do. And I would think in West Hollywood that's very much the case. So it's a cloudy day today. This is not so odd for this time of year. I mean, there's something called June gloom in Southern California where every day starts out cloudy like this, and then by noon or so the clouds part and the sun comes out, and it's beautiful sunny Southern California that everybody expects. But here we're in the middle of July and kind of looks like a June gloom morning. Of course, there won't be as much action down here as there would be on a weekend, in the evening or nighttime. But and then of course there's COVID, so that a lot of this stuff is closed down. But some of the most famous small music venues are here on Sunset Boulevard. Bands like Led Zeppelin, maybe you've heard of them. Here's a big guitar center. It's a big one. I think they have Eddie Van Halen's guitar sitting in a window right outside of that thing, which is pretty cool. It's funky down here. Gosh, bands that have played on Sunset Boulevard: Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, Guns N' Roses, of course, LA Guns, Red Hot Chili Peppers. This is not even the tip of the iceberg. I think the first venue we come upon here, I believe, is the Whiskey A Go Go. Could be wrong. I don't know if I have my landscape correct. But the Whiskey A Go Go, of course, famous for the Doors getting their start there. Jim Morrison. Led Zeppelin played there. On and on and on. I think, so that I get the history correct, I will probably do some overdubs on these videos. Laurel Avenue ahead, as in Laurel Canyon. Huge history of the 60s music scene, folk music, and a number of people, the mamas and the papas. Elton John famously went to Mama Cass's house to party after his debut at the Troubadour, which is not on Sunset Boulevard. It's actually south of here on Santa Monica Boulevard. Here is the Chateau Marmont. Great place for dinner, but John Belushi passed away there. Very sad. It's always busy down here. Comedy Store. I mean, the names, my feeble mind couldn't even come close to remembering them all, but you're talking about Gary Shandling, Jerry Seinfeld, of course. Big names. There's La Cienega, so we should be coming up on the Roxy and the Rainbow Lounge, or the Rainbow Bar and Grill, excuse me. Here's Mel's Drive-In, but it's not the one from American Graffiti. That one was in San Francisco, actually. But still a great place to get a burger. Tower Records. For lease. Times change. Places will come up on us pretty quick, the sights, the notables. They'll also come and go pretty quick. Here is the whiskey, or a whiskey a go-go. Right there, Jim Morrison turns his back to the crowd because he's too shy, according to Oliver Stone's movie. And here we have right next to it the Roxy and the Rainbow. Rainbow was big time hard rock, heavy metal hangout. Famously, you could go, and not even long ago, I could have done it when I was living here, but I just didn't for some reason. You could go down and see Lemmy from Motorhead playing video poker on the end of the bar at the Rainbow just about any day of the week, if he wasn't on tour with Motorhead. But the Roxy, I mean, oh my gosh, Elton John's played there. Keith Moon's played the Whiskey too, I believe. I mean, just the list of names, again, it goes on and on and on. Ringo Starr, John Lennon hung out at these places. Nice Bentley. Around here, I'm sure a lot of places in the world would think, wow, Bentley. And here, they're just, it's like a dime a dozen. Oddly. My dad calls a Mercedes-Benz a California Ford. Growing up in the Midwest, the sensibilities are so different here. And we're going into Beverly Hills. watching some old episodes of the Beverly Hillbillies just recently on Hulu, and was so struck by how this has grown up, you know, as far as vegetation, trees, of course the number of homes. You can't see a lot of them. I mean, we are in the middle of some very, very nice homes, but everything's behind hedgerows and walls and gates, of course. But, you know, I don't blame them. It's a nice house. I wouldn't turn my nose up at it. Of course, we get the lane split in California, or filtering as they call it elsewhere in the world. So what I'm coming up on are a couple of places that just want to get on camera here. The first is the Beverly Hills Hotel, which is a great place to have lunch at the Polo Lounge, or dinner. The weather's so nice here all the time. And just about every time I've had a meal at the Polo Lounge, my wife has recognized somewhat of celebrity. I, of course, never recognize celebrity unless it's Dan Aykroyd or somebody. But my wife finds people there all the time that are notable in some way, I guess. There's the Beverly Hills Hotel. Wonderful photograph taken by famous photographer Slim Aarons, who also took one of my most favorite photographs ever, and it hangs in my house, print of it, not the original, of an image called Poolside Gossip, which was shot at not the Elrod House, but the Neutra House in Palm Springs, California, designed by Richard Neutra. I'd throw images up of those famous photographs, but they're owned by Getty Images, and I don't want this video taken down. I guess we'll go down Rodeo Drive to finish this up, just because we're here and there isn't a whole lot more on the end of Sunset Boulevard here, except for UCLA, and you hit the 405 and it's over. I'm just gonna go for this. Now I probably should watch the volume a little bit, because this is not my neighborhood, and I have to respect someone else's neighborhood, and that they might not want it to be as loud as this bike can get. I wouldn't be surprised if they've got some noise ordinances here, but then again, I wouldn't be surprised if the people living in these homes have some cars in their collections that are probably about as loud as Mr. Kortan here. So Rodeo Drive, you know, it's not going to be a lot going on here. My brakes are a little dirty. I think there's louder than the engine right now. Rodeo Drive is closed. Governor Newsom has issued another business closing because of COVID, because people here in Southern California just can't get it right. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't get political on my channel, but COVID is not a political issue. It's like saying World War II was like a political issue or something. You know, everybody needed to do what they needed to do for the greater good in World War II. And if we're going to beat this COVID thing, there's only two ways we're going to get rid of it. A vaccine, or wear masks, stay home, and social distancing. Those are the two solutions, and one of those solutions isn't on the table today. There is only one that will work, and the virus will burn out if we don't give it a chance to transmit from person to person. But I don't know. I think the governor of Colorado said it best. If you like 30-second sound bites, if you want the unemployment rate to go down, of course I'm speaking to Americans here because we seem to be the ones that are having the hardest time with getting this right. If we want the unemployment rate to go down and we want professional sports to come back, wear a mask. It's just that simple. It's the only proven to work solution that we have right now. There are no others that will work. And I was talking to my dad. Here's Rodeo Drive, St. Laurent, Ralph Lauren, Alexander McQueen. There's some places here, there's Hermes. Some of these places I don't even recognize the name, and you need an appointment. Chanel, Cartier, Ferragamo, Gucci, of course, Prada, Valentino. It's just shopping. Dolce & Gabbana, but it's great design. I mean, too cool. I wonder if I can do a U-turn here. Louis Vuitton, that's a pretty cool building. I do like good design. Well, guys, I'm going to sign off here. Oh, World War II. So, if everyone put on a mask, it would burn out, and we'd be done with this thing in a month or two. And we could all get back to work. And the kids could go back to school. But we have some folks that say nobody's going to tell me what to do, and I can't help but think about the blackouts that we had during World War II. I talked to my dad, who was around at the time. He was very young, but in the middle of rural Minnesota, people had to turn out their lights and draw their shades so that they could black out the city so that German bombers couldn't see the town and drop bombs on it. Now, many people could have said, there's no Germans flying over rural Minnesota. I don't have to turn out my lights. I don't want to turn out my lights. I don't want to draw my curtains. But they didn't. What was best for the greater good was to turn out the lights and draw the curtains, and that's what everybody did, and they didn't question it. They just did what they had to do for the better of others or the whole. And it's temporary. It's not going to go on for four something years like World War II did. Enough of that. There's the famous Beverly Hills sign. I'm gonna sign off here, guys. That's enough. And Thanks for watching. If you like what I'm doing, please subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, and subscribe if you want to become an urban monk. And check out Creating Mr. Kortan, the book about the build of this bike. Thanks for watching.